Hi, welcome to another episode of Operation American Dream. I'm your host today, Amy Scruggs. What happens when we take nonprofit organizations and we empower them to grow together to make a difference in the veteran community? We're going to find out. We've got some great guests in that category. And we're also going to talk about VA homeownership that is so important. So we're going to get started right now. We're back with Operation American Dream. I'm your host today, Amy Scruggs. Warfighter Made is a fantastic nonprofit foundation based out of Temecula, California, that has gone to the extremes to make a difference for our veterans. I have Rob Blanton, who is the founder and president of Warfighter Made. Thank you so much for coming on and driving down here today.
Well, thanks for having us.
So excited to meet you.
Great opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Seeing and knowing what you guys do for our veterans, I want to get right into the foundation. First of all, 21-year Marine, you served our country. Thank you so much for your service and for doing that.
It was a pleasure to serve. The
passion that you have now for giving back and seeing the need. So tell us what Warfighter Made is and what you guys do specifically.
Absolutely. So Warfighter Made is a all-volunteer, veteran-based nonprofit, and we provide recreational therapy for ill, injured, and combat wounded veterans. And we originally started that by adapting and customizing vehicles for catastrophically injured warfighters. Veterans that became amputees or severely burned due to direct combat with the enemy. And then we started to dabble in off-road therapy. We do a lot of fun stuff with the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. But Polaris Razor is a huge supporter of not just Warfighter Made, but veterans in general. And they donated a bunch of their machines to us. And then we use those machines to reach out to veterans and say, hey, come out on this therapy trip with us. Let's have some fun. But Warfighter Made is really assessing the veteran to kind of find out where they're at in their transition process from military to civilian.
Sure, that's much better than them sitting in a counseling place. They're sitting there, they're having fun and don't even realize that you're doing an assessment as they're also getting some healing therapy with that, right?
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So I tell Polaris all the time, I use you guys so hard just to capture the imagination of the veteran. And we work with men and women from all branches of the armed forces, including the Coast Guard. And for us, it's about giving back. We've all been there. You know, a little bit of my backstory is 2009, I was awarded our nation's third highest award for extraordinary heroism. Later that year, I was also awarded with the diagnosis of severe post-traumatic stress and moderate traumatic brain injury. And I was starting to have a lot of issues. I was in a high-profile billet at that time, and I was starting to spiral out of control. I personally went to seek help and realized that everybody wants to help, but the most easiest instant relief is here, take all these meds. And I'm a self-fixer. I don't want to take meds. Unfortunately, after 2 years of trying to self-fix or getting therapies and everything, I had a therapist that finally kind of used my family to say, hey, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your family. So I did. And it turned out to be a horrible mistake. So Warfighter Made was created to prevent or to give veterans other options to therapy other than just immersion therapy, neurofeedback, and certainly medications.
That's incredible. It's so incredible. And I've had the privilege of meeting other foundations that have incredible outreach or different activities or therapy related. How important is it that you guys all know each other to bridge that gap for our veterans?
It is huge because I know what Warfighter Made provides in our mission statement, in our bylaws, is not necessarily what this veteran here who is lost, needs something, and they come to Warfighter Made however they find us, and they're looking around and they're like, this is cool, but this is not what I'm into. So we partner with all sorts of other veteran-based nonprofits that have basically the same philosophy that we have with direct therapy to the veterans. And there's a lot of amazing ones out there.
Right.
Of course, you have the Semper Fi Fund, America's Fund, which is, in my humble opinion, is what we strive to be. You have Wishes for Warriors, Vet Motorsports, Race for the Wounded, Vet for Vet Outdoor Adventures. I mean, there's just so many great Nucks for Life, so many great nonprofits out there that really want to help, but our budgets are geared directly towards the veteran, not getting the word out. So we're relying on word of mouth and everything.
You're all completely nonprofit, meaning donations have to come in to keep this going for you and all of the other foundations that you guys are trying to keep together to make a difference. It's so important, and I am so glad to have you on today. We've had some other great foundations. Getting you guys connected is so critical, because as a whole, we can help start making a difference that's not medication, that's not just putting them somewhere that we don't care. I love what you do for these veterans, and you watch them probably change and grow and light up.
We have some success stories that are fantastic. I mean, I can't sugarcoat it. We've had guys that have attempted suicide, full on survived. Massive reconstructive surgery afterwards, spent a lot of time in other that have spent a lot of time in jail due to their methods. And now they are my foundation to help give back to others.
Absolutely. The reason you keep doing what you do. Thank you so much. I encourage everybody to reach out to Warfighter Made. Check you guys out online. Support the foundation. Thank you for being here and sharing your story today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with more Operation American Dream.
We have a winner! Johnny, you won! You won!
Grandma?
There are certain times in life when you need a neutral third party to call the shots.
I wasn't right. I know, but I wasn't right. I wasn't. You hear me?
Keep it fair. Choose Oakwood Escrow.
And we're back with Operation American Dream. I'm your host today, Amy Scruggs. I have two very awesome individuals that do a ton of stuff to give back to the veteran community. I have Andy Moffitt and David Biber here. Thank you so much, David, Andy.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show today. I want to get right into who you guys are. You're with Two Guys Grilling.
Yes.
So you have a business that you guys have a great time going out and doing a lot of outreach and having fun and doing the grilling. Tell me about that for a second, and then we're going to talk about how that ties into your passion and what you guys really do.
We started in 1999, became a company in the year 2000. To date, we've participated in raising some 30 million.
Wow.
For predominantly military and kids.
Wow. You have such a heart for the veterans. Dave, we met, 7, 8 years ago.
7, 8 years ago, yes.
Working with the veterans together. And Andy, you served 9 years in the Air Force.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
And so you got the right partner here as you guys have come together. So you're doing a lot of outreach while you're out there running your business. And I know you brought up a great point that people don't realize about raising money for veterans causes.
Raising money for veterans causes is pretty straightforward. It's as simple as a backyard barbecue. Just put together a barbecue, have people donate, find a charity, find a cause. It's very simple. Get started. After you've done that once, you'll see that there are a couple of other ways that you can raise money for our veterans causes, and it's not just the veterans that need money, that need help. It's our standing military, our ready reserve. There are a lot of other aspects of the military that we can support that people don't normally think about.
What have you seen, because you've clearly done an outstanding job raising so much money for all the different veteran causes. I can probably name 4 organizations that I know that you're a part of. but behind the scenes, what do you see are some of the obstacles or why people maybe don't take that extra effort to realize that they can help?
Bad press is an obstacle. People think that, oh, this one organization got some bad press, so I'm afraid to go ahead and jump on board with another organization.
Sure.
There are several websites out there that rate charities. And if you find one that is a .org, that's a very different thing than .com. These organizations are there to really help. .coms are usually there to make money.
Okay. How do you advise people? Do people call you as an expert when they need to help doing fundraising? Or do you just kind of lead by example and you're too busy doing everything else?
Get it all the time.
That word expert is a very dangerous word, but we do get inquiries as to what organizations to work with, how should we proceed? We get that a lot.
How can you help us with our fundraising? And we get that a lot. I mean, this is a pay it forward company. We basically do 2 or 3 big things a month, and then the rest of that money that we make goes back into helping the veteran services,
The kids.
the kids. We do a lot with St. Jude, Ronald McDonald House.
Oh, wonderful.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we pay forward. That's why this company kind of works really well, is that we do give it back. I have a construction company. That's what I do.
Okay.
This is what I do for me to make me feel good
Right.
at the end of the day.
And you're seeing such great reward.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yes.
I can only imagine the amount of heart stories that you could share.
It's just one really quick one.
Yeah, please.
We were doing a stand down up in Pomona. A guy comes through and they're down on their luck, and we were making French toast that morning for breakfast, and the guy was like, "Oh man, I wish I had some of the good syrup that we have from down south," and I picked up a bottle that I have shipped out from Florida. I said, "Like this," and he said, and he just started to tremble. He's like, "That's what I wanted." And those are the kind of things that make my day.
Absolutely. And I can totally tell you love what you do, and
Oh, I do.
especially that you served and now you're giving back.
Yeah.
We
It
can
breaks
go,
my heart every day.
I can imagine.
There's no reason that anybody that served should be on the street,
None.
period.
Yeah.
I agree
Or
with you.
wanted, or wanting for anything.
I agree with that. You work very closely with the veteran community on a daily basis.
I do. I've worked with and for DOD for the past 18 years, and when we look at the military community, I don't think that people understand that about a quarter of our standing active duty military qualifies for food stamps.
Wow.
And then there's legislation to take legislation to kill food stamps is actually taking food out of the mouths of the families of our military.
That's tragic.
It is tragic.
I appreciate so much what you guys are doing to get the word out. So if people want to hire Two Guys Grilling for their events, that's going to help support these efforts and the different outreach and the veterans. So everybody's throwing backyard barbecues. Everybody's, and especially in San Diego, we barbecue all year long. There's no off season. So how can we reach you guys so that if we're making a choice to say, hey, we want to support your business because we know that these two guys are doing everything they can to support our veteran community, how do we reach you?
Well, you can go to twoguysgrilling.com. That's probably the easiest way, and you can fill out the little form that says, contact me. And
There are telephone numbers.
and there's
there.
telephone numbers there as well.
Okay. I knowing personally how passionate you guys are, and it clearly is evident even in having this conversation right now, how dedicated you guys are to making a difference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm excited to help promote any way that I can to help get the word out there of what you guys are doing as well. And thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you. Wonderful to work with you in yet another way.
Exactly. We'll be back with more Operation American Dream.
As a real estate professional, there are only so many hours of the day, which means efficiency is more than a buzzword. It's a daily necessity. Two tools from First American Title can help you keep on top of your transactions, either at your desktop or on the go. My First Stam puts comprehensive property data at your fingertips, where you can review recorded documents, past transactions, or locate comparable sales quickly and easily. Cost First can also ensure you have 24/7 access to closing costs data, allowing you to generate net sheets, calculate fees, update documents, or email, print, or save your reports, along with TRID calculation and consummation date timeframes. Each sale includes a number of stages to manage, each with the possibility to delay a closing or derail it altogether. Let Cost First and My First Dam keep your transactions on track. Contact your local First American representative to get started today.
We're back with Operation American Dream. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs. I have such a special guest right now, Gerri Lynn Fives, who is from Pacific Sotheby's International Realty on Coronado. She's a legend here in San Diego and has done incredible work, but what a special story she has to share as we talk about VA homeownership. Gerri Lynn, thank you. I was so happy that you said yes to come on the show.
Well,
I
thank
really,
you.
truly.
I'm honored, and I hope I can live up to the hype you just built on me. It's a
You're
little scary.
No, it's true. I was so happy when I found out your background, when you and I had talked a while back, and you served in the Army and the Navy. And if you're comfortable, I would love for you to share your story those years back when you joined to serve and what happened.
I joined the Army specifically to do a dietetic internship program. And then when I reached my 5th year, I got an inter-service transfer into the Navy. The Navy was short dietitians,
Wow.
so they wanted somebody with experience and already been in the military, department level experience. So that's
Not
what
many
I
people
did.
get to say that. That's pretty special.
It is pretty cool.
So-
I'm thinking I might join the Marines now, but
Let's hit them all.
I'll see which one I like.
You, at a young age, serving the military, you had your son.
I did.
And you needed to find a place to live, and there wasn't housing, right?
Right. I was married at the time, and I was stationed at Fort Bragg. And the Army detailer, in all its infinite wisdom, decided that I needed to be a department head and wanted me to move on. And my husband at the time was at law school at Duke, and he was active duty. Mm-hmm. And they gave me several choices, and they finally sent me to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. At the time I had, he might have been about 2 years old, and he stayed behind and stayed with my parents while I drove cross country to find some place to live. And I come rolling into Sierra Vista, Arizona, and there was all these fabulous condos for swing and singles, but nobody would rent to a single parent.
Unbelievable.
So and there was no base housing, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm 90 miles southeast from Tucson.
Right.
So it's not like you can commute that every day.
And you're thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to land for my child? And you had family that was very big in the financial world, am I correct?
Yes, my dad was, vice president of a bank on Wall Street. My cousins who were my age were, financial guys on Wall Street. Mm-hmm. And, I came up with the bright idea that I was going to use my VA loan and buy a condo. Made sense.
And the family said, yes, that's wonderful. VA loan is the best thing. No, what did they say to you?
My father was beside himself. I mean, he was still beside himself that I was in the military, because
Sure.
ladies didn't belong in the military. And then I got my cousins on board and had them calling me and saying me, don't do this, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Well, I had no options. So the VA loan, and I had no money, the VA loan saved me.
No money down,
No money
100%.
down, 100% financing. I had a nice 2-bedroom condo. Well, my ex-husband and I get divorced. I end up leaving the Army and going to the Navy, and now I've got this condo in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, which is not exactly the mecca of people moving to. Mm-hmm. So I ended up renting the condo out for, God knows how many years. And,
It's incredible. And then years later, you were able to, through some situations, with divorce.
Yeah. So I got married again.
Right.
And I married a naval officer. And if you remember, when I bought the condo in probably 1984, interest rates were exorbitant.
Sure.
And then they started coming down. So I'm looking at it, and it makes sense. Well, I need to refinance this. Mm-hmm. So I called to refinance and was told, you're not employed. I had resigned my commission at that point. So I had to put my my then husband on title.
Right.
And then fast forward a number of years, and guess what? I get divorced again.
Right.
And in the divorce settlement, we're going through property distribution, and he says, that's half mine.
No, it's not. It was yours. And
Technically, because he was on title in the state of California, it's a 50-50.
Right.
But when I told the arbitrator, the judge, that he never stepped foot in the condo, the judge said it's hers. So I got
amazing.
it. It is amazing
So
because
to fast forward, you were able to take that home ownership. Now you had equity, and you were able to start building your wealth through VA homeownership from then forward.
Exactly. And again, Fort Huachuca, Arizona is not fast appreciation.
Right.
But I was able to put the place on the market, sell it in a relatively short period of time, and walk away with $108,000 in my pocket.
It's incredible. And
So-
Gerri, you've taken that now, and you have been in real estate for how many years?
18.
You took that experience, and how many vets have you been able to help now with that same experience?
I don't count.
It's amazing.
I don't count. But
And you can share your story with them.
I love them. And they're like my little kids, and I want to take care of them. And when I tell them the decisions you make today are decisions that can make or break you later in life. And several of my clients have said to them, I hope when you're 50, I'm still alive and you can call me and say, you know what, that was the best thing I ever did. I had this young couple, the wife was on the fence about buying a place, and I kept looking at him and I said, OPM.
Right.
They're like, what's OPM? Other people's money. You're getting a VA loan, no money down, and your mortgage payment is the same as your housing allowance.
Right.
I mean, how is this not a smart thing to do?
You were able to take that experience and now help so many people. When people meet you in the industry and see the vast career that you've had, you are so well known and a phenomenal career, but it started with that first experience. You're so great. I encourage everybody to reach out for you to share the story if they want to know about VA homeownership, to get in touch with you through Pacific Sotheby's International Coronado. Thank you so much, Gerri, for the work you've done with our vets and for sharing your personal story today that just touched my heart so much. Thank you for being on
thank
Operation
you.
American Dream today.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with more Operation American Dream. We're back with Operation American Dream. We're having a good time today. I'm your host, Amy Scruggs. I have an awesome guest right now that I'm excited to introduce, Mr. Steve Majerus. He is the National Production Vice President with Synergy One Lending.
I am. That's right.
You are, Steve, you're so awesome to work with. Thank you so much that I have the privilege of working with you on a regular basis. But I brought you in here today because I wanted to touch base on your background a little bit. Tell me a few of the places where you come from, because you didn't just start yesterday.
No, and it probably shows. But over the course of time, I've been in several leadership positions throughout the country, always in the mortgage business, always related to sales, growing companies, operations, and scaling things. And really, I was an early adopter in the mortgage space and joined eLoan during the dot-com boom.
Wow.
And so I'm partial to innovation and growing opportunities. So that really is what led me to the opportunity with Synergy as well.
So Synergy reaches out to you. You check it out. Why did you choose Synergy?
I will tell you, I had an immediate connection with our co-founders, Tori Larson and Tyler Larson. Mm-hmm. These are two of the most authentic people I have probably ever met in our business, and it did not take us long to know that we were correct together and that we were going to do big things together. And I will say that they have provided such an amazing foundation on which we think we're going to play off of for years and years to come. Where we are with our core values, the authenticity of these gentlemen, and the people we attract is just universally appealing to people. And really, when you're part of a growth engine like we are now, people always want to be part of something bigger than themselves.
Right.
And I think that comes through from all of us who are talking to people about Synergy.
There is such a culture, no question.
There really is.
Really true compassion and passion for what we do. Clearly, VA homeownership is a big passion for this company, especially with a corporate office being in San Diego. We've got one of the biggest military towns. We're very passionate about VA homeownership. How do you see that Synergy is also going that extra step of not just saying, yes, we do VA loans, but we're really passionate about giving back to the veterans?
Well, it's very interesting because really the beginnings of our interest in serving the veterans community came from our employees. We've hired veterans into key positions, whether it's in the sales side or the operations team, and we value their input and opening our eyes to the opportunities in serving. It has evolved into a much greater thing and embedding, you included, in the veterans community, serving the active community members of the veterans community, as well as the retired members, and sharing the education that is needed and opening their eyes to homeownership opportunities. And frankly, as the military aging population continues to grow as well, we think that there is an opportunity to educate them on home equity conversion mortgages as well in the reverse mortgage space.
Absolutely. I think there is not, VA loan isn't just a young person's loan.
No.
My own father, Air Force veteran, finally used his VA loan entitlement, about 2 years ago. All those years in conventional, he didn't realize. He's like, I didn't realize. And so it is important that we educate, as a community, that we educate veterans of all ages that maybe haven't used their VA loan yet. And I love how you've come in, and Synergy is doing such a great job about actually carrying and making this a relationship banking business.
It really is. It just goes so, the lending component is our little piece of it, but it goes so much further beyond that, and the connections we make in the community, us learning about them learning about what we have to offer. But really, as a lender, whether you're trying to figure out the millennial segment or any other segment of the market that you want to serve, who is more deserving than our veterans? I mean, it is inspiring right in its core. And so we think we're going to play a big role in that going forward.
Absolutely, because education is the key.
It is.
And we've got to get direct to those consumers. And if we're out doing outreach, if we're out in veterans foundations and their events that they're doing, and if we're out in the community where the veterans are, it gives us an opportunity to establish that relationship that they trust us with talking about such a precious topic as home ownership.
They deserve the peace of mind that goes along with home ownership. There's no question about it. All of the uncertainty that active participants in the military have, as well as our aging, they deserve the peace of mind on home ownership, and we just want to play a role in providing that education. And you and the rest of the team here are giving that life every day. And our broader and broader reach, as we continue to grow, we're going to remain constant in that to the veterans community.
Right. And even though our corporate office happens to be in San Diego, California, we have a nationwide reach. Am I correct?
Very much so. We're in the process of, we have already footprint in Utah, Colorado, Oregon, and we have plans and things are in the works for additional states where our presence is going to be known very soon.
And we can make a difference in the veteran communities in all of those areas.
It's part of what we're going to do everywhere. There's no question about it.
It's exciting.
It really is.
I'm excited to partner with you on this. I get the special privilege of being a voice in other areas of this, but I get to also watch it behind the scenes, and I get so excited about veterans who find out, wow, I can really own a house. I really can qualify.
Absolutely. There's very little more inspiring in the mortgage lending space than serving veterans. It is at its core a very easy thing to get inspired by.
Thank you so much for the role that you're playing to bring Synergy out there so people know that there's a place that they can be cared for, they can be educated, they can get all their questions answered, and we can help them accomplish the dream of home ownership. Thank you for your partnership in that.
Absolutely.
And thanks for being on Operation American Dream today.
My pleasure. It's what we do.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Amy.
We'll be back with more Operation American Dream. It was such a great time today on the show. I love talking about empowering veterans and home ownership, and I love hearing about the great things that our nonprofits are doing out there to make a difference in the lives and healing for our veterans. Make sure and follow us on social media, and don't miss the next episode of Operation American Dream.